I think, thank you for having me today. We are having a very serious security problem in the country right now. And it looks like we're not addressing those problems. We're either dealing with symptoms or we're not facing it squarely in the face. Um, there are agitations, not only in the southeast, everywhere, in the middle belt, in the northeast itself, all over the country. And I think all these things that are happening in the past 1 week now shows us that the problem is very, very serious. And we have to address these problems. If we don't address them squarely, then the country is falling apart. And it's necessary that the security agencies look at it. If there are these agitations and we cannot address them, but just leave them there, then we are heading for something else. There is no other way in a federation like Nigeria where there will be agitations, even in America where they've had a very old constitution, their people are still agitating. And these agitations are being addressed. And I think we should address them instead of just sweeping them aside. Because what we are seeing now are the results of that problem that we've swept aside before now.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
Let me just do a quick follow-up on that, Mr. Amachree. Let me be more specific now. The Gulag incident in Owerri on Sunday, do you think it was just a random case of killing, or it was a targeted killing?
It's not a random case of killing, because killings have been going on. You see, I'm worried when you call it random because he's a politician or, a high-profile individual. Nigerians have been dying, many of them, farmers, people in the villages, students have been dying. And then, of course, something has to be done about it. We cannot, because Gulag is a politician, it becomes something that the whole country have to now zero in and start looking for solutions. We have to look for the solution everywhere. And that is what is facing us right now. If I have to approach it as an investigator, for instance, first of all, I'm going to ask certain questions. And those questions are going to give me answers. Number one, if I'm investigating this particular case, I will ask, what is Gulag doing in Imo State? That's number one. What is he doing there? Who is his host? Why was he not at the government guest house, but in a hotel? If it is the government that he came to see, okay, if he's in the hotel, when he came and then when he's leaving, he's supposed to have some security escorts. Why is it that he has to take a taxi, or should I say an airport taxi cab? And then, of course, if he's taking a taxi, that means he's trying to play low profile. Because when we saw the body, he was actually wearing a blue jeans and a t-shirt. That means he's really playing low profile. So if he's playing low profile, who are the people privy to his movement? Or you're saying that he was there for the...
he said on a national assignment.
On national assignment. Was he one of the people that is supposed to be part of the panel that was going around? Or he was on a private visit? Because this is conflicting. Yeah, as investigators, we are still going to find out, was he actually part of the Senate committee, or he was on a private visit? And if he was part of the Senate committee that was visiting the state, I think they moved together. They moved together to catch a flight. And of course, they are all escorted together. So why is he on the private one? So these are questions that need answers. And by the time we get these answers, we'll know, at least it will give us a picture.
All right. We'll come to you, Dr. Ona Lekoma. I hope you can connect with us now. You can hear us clearly. But briefly, Mr. Amachree, the fact that there were two other persons in that car. There was a driver and there was another individual in that car who was spared, and only Gulak was killed. What does that tell you?
It tells me that it's an assassination. It tells me that it's an assassination. Because if there are other people, and these are not just armed robbers, it's a targeted violence, it's a targeted person. So I will call it an assassination.
All right, let's bring in Dr. Ona Ekomo into the conversation now. Dr. Ekomo, the Southeast has been in the news for quite a while now. Mr. Amachree feels there are genuine agitations that need to be addressed by the government at the center and even in the region, and that could help to, calm frayed nerves as far as these agitations are concerned. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you for having me. I don't know if you can hear me.
Very well, loud and clear.
Thank you. Yes. Well, I think Mr. Dennis, we call him the Oracle of Security. He is spot on in that assessment, in saying that there are governance issues, there are political issues that require attention from the government at the center to begin to douse the tension in the Southeast, and also reduce the increasing violence that we are observing there, because it appears we are not paying attention, and in our usual Nigerian governance model, we like to wait until things go very bad, until they get to the brink before we do something about it. And I think that's very unfortunate, because that hasn't served us very well. That's why we have crises all over the country. Now we have banditry in the Northwest, and we have insurgency in the Northeast. We have farmer header violence, which just claimed, I understand, 52 lives yesterday in Benue State, or Benue border area. And then we have, of course, the kidnapping, the header kidnapping going on in the Southwest, South. So the entire country seems to be embroiled in one kind of violent crisis or the other. Now, let me quickly say something, that the federal government ought to understand that every attack that occurs there, whether it's Gulak that was shot in Owerri, or whether it's the 200 girls that were seized in Tegina in Niger State yesterday, every attack there, it puts a very dark spot on the performance of the federal government in terms of governance, in terms of being able to provide law and order and provide a safe environment for all Nigerians to perhaps get their living and live what we call the Aristotelian good life. Now, having said that, I think certainly the problems in the Southeast are addressable. They can be addressed, they can be resolved, but it will take some political savvy. It will take a partnership between the federal authorities and local leaders to, douse the tension there, such that the area will become, the beautiful, peaceful place that we've always known the Southeast to be.
All right, Dr. Ona, you are an intelligence officer, of course, a security expert. Could you give us a sense of why the problem in the Southeast is particularly focused on security formations and very recently INEC offices in the Southeast? Intelligence gathered, would you say, what exactly would you say is at the bottom or in the hearts of the people who are doing this?
Thank you very much, ma'am. I think well, there are so many things you can use a cover. First of all, the short answer to your question is because they are vulnerable. That means because they can be hit. So we can use many models. We can use a cover model of a vulnerability assessment. Now, what am I saying here? I'm saying that INEC office is visible. It is an instrument of government. Now, the separatists are saying they reject this government. So what do you think they will do? The natural thing, of course, is to go and hit that instrument or that symbol of that government and, and kind of make it appear as if the government is incapable. Now, you see, of course, attacks from police stations. I think, was it yesterday, there was a bombing of immigration office in Imo State. So what I'm trying to say is that you will see these kinds of targeted attacks, to borrow Director Dennis's words. You will see these kinds of targeted attacks at very vulnerable targets because the police stations are not well defended. I think I did that analysis after the SARS incident. And if you remember, even the INEC itself came out and said how many stations or how many offices it lost. INEC, I'm talking about now, lost so many offices, I think about 18 during the NSAS riot. Now, of course, the police lost much more than that. Maybe that's why they don't have enough targets to hit this time around. But what I'm trying to say is these government assets are there, but they are poorly defended. And why are they poorly defended? Because there is no, well, I can't say no, there is low or poor vulnerability assessment and poor countermeasures in place to protect those assets. Now, a situation where you have a police station, there are arms in there, bad guys are looking for arms. Where do you think they will go? It's like they asked the famous American bank robber, why do you rob banks? He said, money is. So where do you think the bad guys will go? They'll probably go to the police station, particularly if the perception is that these places are not well defended. And that is the reality. In fact, perhaps they are not well defended. Now, you've seen situations where well-defended police stations, they've been able to repel the attacks. And so I think, again, Madam Colleague, to answer your question very shortly, or very simply, it's called vulnerability. These targets are vulnerable. So, and now yesterday, there was a meeting, please, just a second. Yesterday, there was a meeting here in Lagos where INEC officials were lamenting that, they've attacked so many of their assets and things. Of course, they will attack your assets because, first of all, you're a symbol of government. They shouldn't. But, if you know you are a symbol of government, it means you need to be target hardened. That's what it's called, target hardened. You need to get into a posture whereby even if there is, particularly when you've seen these attacks developing, you should know that the sickness that killed your brother will soon kill you also. And so you should do what you need to do to target harden your assets. And there's a large range of options in terms of countermeasures that can be employed. But the first thing is conduct a vulnerability assessment. Who is conducting vulnerability assessment of government assets in Nigeria? I don't know. There have been so many attacks. Let's begin with the Imo Correctional Facility attack. When the attackers got there, they breached the facility. When they breached the facility, they set the prisoners free. And when they set them free, they say, go and sin no more, something like that. Something very biblical, something very poetic. They said it to them. So now somebody turns around and says, oh, no, those must be the headsmen attacking. I'm like, headsmen don't know that kind of grammar. So certainly, you have to look, we have another word for another phrase for it. We say, if it moves like a duck and quack like a duck, it might probably be a duck. Now, when the Mr. Gulak was attacked a couple of days ago, I was interviewed on a network, and they said, who is the probable perpetrator? I said, it is obvious who should be doing that kind of a thing. You don't need the Babalawo to do that. Just call Mr. Dennis here. He will give you an assessment. He will tell you who will be doing that. So I said it's obvious who will be doing it. Like Dennis said, it was a targeted attack. They interviewed the occupants of the vehicle. First of all, look at the elements of the crime. There was a rolling box ambush. Rolling box is when you come up and cross a car. They sped up, blocked the car, boxed it in, brought out the occupants, interviewed them, chose their target, eliminated, and then drove off. Well, good for the police. I love the police, the job they did here. They were able, and now, first of all, they were able to interview those, the occupants. So now we're very fortunate that the bad guys didn't eliminate everyone. Why do you think they didn't eliminate everyone? Because they didn't have interest in the others. They saw a quarry and they took him out. Now, so that's one point there. So that the eyewitness testimony that they gave to the police helped to interdict those guys. Now the police again did their usual overkill, because they should have, if it was possible, they should have spared some of their assailants such that they can get more information from them. Perhaps they could have learned more from them. So this business, this tendency to kill off all attackers, all aggressors, is a very bad tendency, because you can gain a lot of investigative information. That's what Mr. Dennis was talking about. You can gain a lot of information from the people, some of the bad guys themselves. So we shouldn't be in such a hurry to kill them. But anyhow, I'm happy that those guys were neutralized. Now, but having said that, I think the point here is we don't want a situation where there will be breakdown of law and order in the country, and we need to address very urgently the political issues that are giving rise to these kinds of violence we are seeing.
All right, Mr. Amachree, beyond the southeast, we also have issues in the northwest and the northeast and north central, everywhere. The abduction of students from school, for instance, appears to be something that is not anywhere close to being abated. As some students who were abducted were being released, we also have another set of students being abducted. And now, even in universities, before it used to be secondary primary schools, today we also have universities. And now the University Authority, a Senior Staff Association, is saying, why don't we allow the security personnel in our institutions to carry arms? What's your take on this?
Well, I think we are trying to put the cart before the horse in trying to solve this problem, because it is not just, it's not an armed thing. It's not just an armed thing whereby let us arm the people, let's put police all over the schools. We cannot do that because we don't have enough. You know, for the 400 or so thousand policemen in Nigeria, think of it. If we have to send policemen to all of the schools to, you know, take care of them, it might not even do any kind of job. For some of the schools that they've even sent the armed men to, look at it. You see 2 policemen at the gate, and that's it. How can those people actually secure that school? You know, so it is a simple issue whereby we have to create that defensible space, the defensible space for that institution. The Safe School Initiative has been there. All the measurable steps are there, whereby we will put this and this and this and this in place. We will put alarm systems, we will put perimeter fencing and all those things there. And then, of course, a quick response team. Then teach the students and the community around the schools on security. Give them a security awareness training so that everybody is aware. Continue to do drills so that at least as they go to school, they also know that if something happens like this, these are the steps that they are going to take. Just like an active shooter situation, where if there is a shooter, an active shooter in the compound, what is the next thing that you do? All these things should be put in place. It's not arming the security men in the place, and then they might even be overwhelmed if we do that. So I think there are steps to follow, and if you follow those steps, then you can secure the schools, not the other way around.
All right, Mr. Amachree, I mean, even if those steps are employed, I mean, you have a situation where these bandits who go to schools, who kidnap, go in droves. A couple dozen, well armed, approach a school, take a siege, abduct a student. Can any drill counteract that?
A drill is one that you do when there is no attack. It's a drill that you call at any time, either in the midnight or in the morning, anytime. There will be a muster point where everybody should supposed to go, or there is supposed to be some areas that they are supposed to hide during the drill. And then, of course, everybody should know what they are supposed to do. And that's what the drill is supposed to be. You know, it is not that when the attackers come, then you start to do your drills. No.
Mr. Amachree, is worrisome because these abductors come in the middle of the night, in the dead of the night, probably when the students
Yes.
are in their hostels sleeping.
Of course.
And they get
Yes.
gain access into the school compound and then go straight into the hostels and abduct the children. No, what kind of drill will prepare these students to, you know, go to where at that dead of the night when these things are happening?
All right, let me give you a scenario right now. Students are sleeping 2 a.m. in the morning. And then, of course, there are alarm systems. And then, of course, the alarm system will trigger out to tell us that there is a breach on the perimeter fencing. And if there's a breach on the perimeter fencing, the security people on duty at that time might raise the alarm. So even before the kidnappers or whoever they are go to the dormitories, the alarm will wake them up. Everybody's awake now. And then following the drill, they know exactly what to do. You know? So that's how it works. It doesn't depend, you know, it doesn't matter which time of day this incident is going to happen. The drill is just meant to teach the students of what to do. And then, of course, the quick response force will be alerted at the same time while the villagers are also alerted. So you cannot imagine how 200 kids will be shepherded into either a hillocks or by foot and taken away from the school, and nobody is aware. You know, these are the things that we want to prevent.